So,
Hello.
hello.
How is
Hello.
everyone?
The band? Good. The band is back together.
Hey
Yes.
guys, how's it going?
Who are you?
Good.
Who am I? I know.
that?
It's been ages.
Who's
It
that?
has been a long time.
Yeah.
Did you fly in especially for us today?
Just
Looking at
especially for you today.
Yeah,
the
suitcases are
suitcases.
still there,
the
packed.
suitcase?
It's just because I haven't put them in the garage yet. You know, I need to wrap them up to stop the spiders getting them, and I haven't done that yet.
All right. Well, we're happy you're here again. It's been
Good
a
to
while.
be back.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, we did some collaborations in the past couple of months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did,
It's all good.
90
90
days
days
of
of DevOps. Yeah.
Yeah. Great initiative by Michael Cade. If anybody hasn't checked that out yet, privileged to be able to contribute to that. But the intent, not just his video series during the 90 days of DevOps, but all of the stuff he's been doing around that for the last several years. If you're just getting into DevOps, wanting to learn, or even just wanting to refresh your knowledge because you can't know everything, go and check out 90 Days of DevOps on GitHub. It's got lots of stars, got lots of information, and it'll certainly help your learning journey. So go check it out.
Definitely.
Good stuff. Good sessions. And Simon, Alan, Ashmal, I hope I pronounce it correctly. Thank you for joining.
Hi, folks.
Happy
Good to see you.
Hello.
Yeah, so how was last week? How we been, Karl?
Yeah, what day is it today? It's Friday, so we're on a new day. Going forward, we'll probably stick with Fridays now.
There's a song like it's Friday then. Oh, never mind.
Do you want to sing for us?
No, we're not going to sing. Never mind.
Okay.
Disregard
Sure.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, my week's been busy. Actually, since I took most of December off, life has just been a blur. Starting back to work and life and stuff since. So it's good to be back. Good to be getting back into a bit of a routine. This week has been busy. I spent Monday and Tuesday in London with the client I've been working with for just over a year now. Usual monthly visits, so that's good. Aside from that, I'm working on a group-wide standard AKS architecture for them. So trying to set some standards so that regardless of which group entity adopts AKS, then thanks, Alan. If regardless of which entity adopts AKS, that it's supportable by the core teams and the platform teams.
Nice.
I'm working on learning or relearning some Argo CD because I prefer Flux, just because Argo is their choice. So that's what we're going to push forward with. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting.
Argo.
No, it's I just teaching myself the way Argo does things. But it's pretty interesting. It's been good to be building that sort of architecture for them. So, yep,
Nice.
that's been this week.
All right.
Beats Microsoft Exchange for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about you, Richard?
Lots and lots of infrastructure as code this week. Pretty much my whole week has been head down in infrastructure as code, virtual machines, AKS, databases, front door, APIM. It's just been a big project, but we're getting there. Nearly finished.
Nice. All right.
What about yourself, Wesley? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I was waiting for that question and trying to think about that. What did I do the last week?
We don't care.
Yeah.
I already know. So tell everyone else.
It's been technically, or from a technical perspective, open telemetry, Kubernetes, GitHub Actions, workflows, some cool stuff. Did a session with Robin on Wednesday on container image security. I did a blog series on that, and then I did a session on his LinkedIn stream. That was very, very nice, very cool to do. What else did I do? We've got 2 new colleagues who started within Intercept, technical ones. There's more people, but let's talk about the technical ones with technical people, helping them get up to speed. And
awesome.
Those are
must check out that stream from Robin. Actually, you did one, Richard, there a couple of weeks back too.
It was fun. It was fun.
A
The
lot of
only
fun.
problem was that my light was broken, so it was a bit dark when I was on camera. But then again, people are not here to see my face; they're there for the content. So
I hate to break it to you, mate. No.
yeah. Well, luckily the next morning my light was fixed
By magic.
By fairies or
by my wife.
right.
The whole thing had to come off. It was not the light bulb, right? It was the whole lamp. But I woke up hearing a noise, and I thought, "What's that?" And apparently, she was here in my office replacing the lamp, putting a new one on the ceiling, and almost electrocuted herself in the meanwhile. But luckily, everything is all right. But now you know who's the builder and the do-it-yourselfer here in the house. It's not me.
So what I hear you say is thank you, Amy, for fixing my light.
Yes, thank you, Amy. Thank you for fixing this. If you're watching this, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Couldn't do it myself.
There's a couple of questions in the chat already before we move on. One from Ajmal. This question about AKS tooling and for multiple teams and multiple customers and everything, that's worth actually a show in its own right. So that's maybe
Definitely.
something we'll have to look into in the next few weeks.
Yep.
Yeah,
for
let's
sure.
plan
I
that.
love the idea.
We can prep and then maybe stretch up to 10 minutes in tech, just do a little bit longer. And
Hey, definitely,
Something like
because
that.
I mean the fleet management and stuff specifically around AKS. But I see I shared an article with you folks in the last couple of weeks around the ByteDance, the TikTok owners using their, is it Cube Admiral they call it, from fleet management with AKS or with Kubernetes. So it'll be interesting to check that out, and then GitOps for multi-cluster stuff as well, which will be pretty interesting. Just off the top of my head of stuff we could talk about.
Network policies as well.
Yep.
Just get that security boundary. Can't forget about the security. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Alan asks, do we have a calendar feed for your events?
we
Not
should
yet.
do that.
It's probably
But we
not a
should
bad
so
idea,
do that.
Alan. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That is a good idea. We
Instead of relying on us remembering to tweet about these things. So thanks.
Well, it's all a private chat, but we've got a WhatsApp group in there where we come up with this stuff, and a lot of it is last minute. But we should probably, schedule more stuff.
Yeah.
Create a calendar.
Yeah.
And also have the occasional guest. That'd be very nice.
Yeah, and things that we've talked about in the past, like doing the second show type, the cloud native conversations, getting to know people in the cloud native community.
Yeah.
So it'd be really good to start doing that sort of stuff, and having a calendar of those sort of events will be good. So, Alan, watch this space soon-ish.
Yep.
It's
and
a
thanks
promise.
for the
We'll
idea.
do it. Yeah.
Maybe
right,
give us a push if we haven't done it by next week.
All right, shall we move on to some news?
News.
Yes.
All right. First one. Azure Spring Clean, our session got accepted.
Yes.
Yes. Good news.
Looking forward to that.
Very good news. Looking forward to that, cleaning up the AKS cluster.
Yeah, that's
When
next
is
month,
it?
right?
The spring clean.
It's next month.
Yeah. Do we know when? Just so I can get in my calendar.
I don't know the exact date, but it's
when do we need to do our stuff for it is the question.
Yeah.
Well, I accepted the acceptance. That sounds a
Nice.
bit weird, but you're gonna sessionize. You put in a session, it gets accepted, and then you need to confirm your participation.
Love it.
That's a better way of saying it. And then I'm sure it will be planned in, and then we'll know in the next couple of days. To be honest, I did not check if there was a follow-up on that, but seeing the amount of sessions from the top of my head, there were like more than 70 sessions to be put in. So I think they got some planning to do, which is admirable, and it's a lot of work, but Richard will know that from Festive Tech as well.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah, so I think they're running a few years now as well, which is really good to see. The Joe Carlisle and Thomas Thornton are the folks behind Azure. Sorry, I forgot the name of the thing there. Azure Spring Clean.
Yeah.
Azure Spring, and Chris is saying, just so you don't book another holiday, Richard.
Richard's
that is
entire
not
life
just
is a holiday.
That is a thing. Even at work, that is a thing. Like, oh, well, we're planning. Oh, Richard, he's going somewhere again, Disney.
I mean, how much leave
like
do you
Mr.
get?
Mr. Holiday Man. I don't know how he does it, but
Yeah, I don't know either, but I'm not as bad as Nicholas Chang on all of his conferences.
The
so,
shade.
He's-
What, we're
I don't know
naming
how
and
he gets
shaming
it
now.
The
anyway.
shade.
No
Oh,
shade
shots
thrown
fired.
at all. But he goes on more events and conferences and holidays than I do.
Quick,
and I don't know how he does it.
deflect.
But yeah, I will try not to book a holiday, and we can record it when I'm here because we have got KubeCon next month as well. Don't forget.
Oh, yes.
An MVP summit, which I'll be attending, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Oh, you're going.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you two
No.
lads are going to KubeCon, but
Yeah.
It'd
Sorry.
be great to meet a lot of the community that I have yet to meet. So be good. Looking
Yeah,
forward
we
to it.
heard you were
Nice.
going to the summit, so we went to KubeCon instead.
Yeah.
You know, I love you
It's gonna be
guys
this
too.
kind of show, huh?
Right.
All right.
Hooper's
Um,
already throwing the shade. I mean, I'm
Might as well
need,
continue.
I'm going to need to text Nick after this and make sure he's okay.
All right. So news, and this one's been out for some time. The YouTube channel, the AKS community, but it has been getting some more love on social media. So do check it out.
Some great
news.
content on there. So
Yeah,
check it out.
good
And
content.
not just
Really?
Azure content as well. There's been some other bits and pieces on there as well, which has been
Yeah.
quite good to see. More cloud native content.
I think Josh Duffney did a session on WASM as well on that channel.
Mhm. Yep.
Good stuff over there. Good stuff. Definitely check it out.
Yep.
All right. What else we got?
So we got the Cloud Native ambassadors are still open for nomination. So go and fill the form in. That is, I think, until the end of March, if I remember correctly. So if you're looking at becoming a Cloud Native ambassador, definitely go check it out, fill it in, and fingers crossed for you.
See what happens. Did we apply again, Richard?
It's on the list of jobs. I still got to fill in all of my MVP stuff first as well. So
I need to do that.
and then I'm on holiday next week. Not next week, the week after. So I need to find some time. Maybe I'll do it on the plane.
It's the first year I kept track of my MVP contributions, so I'm good.
Nobody cares,
I'm
Wesley.
happy.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, go away.
I did my administration timely. All right.
Yep.
And if you are going to KubeCon, do let us know, and maybe we can meet up. Rich and I will be there.
That'd be good.
And
Hopefully,
if you-
we get some nice new announcements from. I think a lot of people are holding off because KubeCon is next month. So I feel like a lot of people are holding off on these cool announcements
Oh yes.
until KubeCon, and then we're just going to get bombarded, and we'll have to do a whole show just on the news alone.
We'll
That's
be
why-
live
that's why we do
tweeting
it.
or
Yep.
live posting on X. Live
I
Xing, that
won't
doesn't
be
sound
live tweeting anything. So
Oh no, NDA.
Nope.
Do not leak.
All right.
more
We're gonna
news.
Talk about some tech. I think. Someone want to sing the song of the title of the show?
Oh,
No.
No.
Copacabana.
Go on, Wesley.
No. Well, we came.
Come on.
No, I'm not gonna sing. We came up with the title. Well, it was easy to come up with, and I think I saw a tweet from Sonia Koff in November that make the same joke. So sorry about that. We kind of stole that.
Thanks, Sonia.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at some patching container images. It was also part of the session that with Robin last Wednesday, and this is just a small sneak peek. We only have a couple of minutes to talk about it, and that's what we're gonna do in 10-minute tech.
Let's get into it.
All right. Can someone press the button and do the thing to put my
oh yes.
screen?
There we
Yeah,
go.
there we go. I know I've got the button, but I always pick
we
the
go.
wrong layout. Maybe we need to clean that up someday.
Yeah.
All right. So, Project Copacetic or Copa. And I see that Richard is very
He's
interested.
left
in
us
this project.
already. Go
He
on.
just left. All right.
Sorry, cats for you. They are trying to destroy my whole office again.
I thought it was a package again.
No, you would have
always
heard
got
the
packages.
doorbell.
That is it, Chris. It's either he's on a holiday or he's in a meeting and he goes, someone's at the door and he's got a package.
It's always Amazon delivering stuff, right?
Always Amazon.
Amazon,
sponsor.
ASOS. Yeah,
That makes
you name it. So
You are multi-cloud just because you order so much stuff from Amazon.
yes, yeah.
All right. Project Copacetic. or Copa for short, or Copa is what the tool is called. It is a solution built by Microsoft, or it originated from Microsoft, from one of the incubation teams, the people who built Radius and all the other stuff that eventually were donated to CNCF. Dapper. Yeah, name, there's so much.
Yeah.
So it was initially released like pre-alpha v01, maybe somewhere January 2023, and evolved over the year, and then was eventually donated and is now a CNCF sandbox project. And that's all very nice to hear, but what does it actually do? Remember when we used to do virtual machines and there was a CV and we dropped everything, or we had Patch Tuesday, panic, and we patched, we put in all the security patches, we rebooted the server, and that was that, right? That's what we did as ops people. Now,
Hoped for the best.
And hoped it didn't break
hope for the
something.
best. Yeah.
Do you remember
Yeah,
the patch Tuesday that broke printers multiple times?
Oh, there's so many bad patches out there.
I just remember patching a lot of Linux servers and then praying that you did not have a kernel panic, because back in the day, there was no package manager to simply update your kernel. It was compiling and replacing and hoping it came back up. All right, but then we have containers and container images, and they still have an operating system. That also needs patching. If you have an image in your registry for a year, I can promise you that there will be a vulnerability somewhere that needs patching. So some very, very bright people came up with Copacetic, and Copacetic leverages BuildKit. We could do a whole session on BuildKit. We're not going to do that. To actually allow you to patch container images instead of going back to the developer. Here's your Docker file. Go fix that thing, and those packages are vulnerable. No, we can pull an image, we scan it, we get a report, and then we patch whatever is in the image. There's a very nice image here on the Copacetic website. Everything hosted on GitHub, by the way. It just digs through the different layers. You got the OS image, you got the language image, framework, application image, and patch layer. And it actually patches it for you, allows you to add a new tag to the image, and then push it back into your registry.
Nice.
And you got patched image. And it sounds as simple as that, but the technology behind this, it's amazing. And you can do a demo in 5 minutes, or you can talk about this for 3 days. So what they also did is create a GitHub action called Copa action. So you can run it in your own GitHub workflows, or you can do some customized stuff, which I did because I ran into some things with my GitHub runner. I wanted to do more than the GitHub runners by default supported, and then you can go above and beyond and modify your Docker configuration, your Docker installation, build your own container image, which at some point might probably do. But for now, we just did some inline stuff. So what we're going to do is we have an image in our container registry called backend v101. And it is a Golang old version container with a bunch of vulnerabilities. And we can see that if we click on this, right? It's Alpine Linux. And we can see some vulnerabilities, and this is Microsoft Defender for Cloud with the vulnerability assessment feature. And I've got 1, 2, 3, one of 3 pages, right? Now, what we want to do is patch that, right? And let's say I don't want to wait for my developer to rewrite the Docker file, or I'm not going to do that myself. I just want to, deploy a new version, tag it with a new patch version, or maybe append something like -tag, and then see if that runs something, so I know it will run on that new version. And then potentially, if it's a high risk or critical CVE, you just patch it, deploy it, and then it's containers, so we can deploy it. Does it work? Does the pod start? Yes. Well, then it was successful. Does it not start? We can always revert back, right? So before we know if there's a vulnerability, we need a solution like Trivy to scan container images. And over the past couple of weeks, I did a whole series on blog posts
We got a question in, Wesley.
We got a question. Let's see.
Yeah. Only OS level, or can it do other bits like your packages inside the container?
I have only done demos with OS level and repeated that time over time. I've also set Trivy to, because let's just show that. Let's just
Sounds
put
good.
it on the screen, right? This is my workflow. And what's going to happen is I'm going to do a Docker login, and I have all my secrets set up. I'm going to run Trivy. I'm going to output something to Trivy results.json, which will then be picked up by Copa. Before that, we can do different vulnerability types in Trivy, operating system, but also packages. Yeah. I've had end-to-end success time over time with OS level ones. I've had some with packages. Sometimes it couldn't patch it, sometimes it could. I think there's some work to be done there, but it's open source there. If you read the website from Copacetic, there's a lot of additional adapters that you can write yourself to support whatever you need. Maybe you have a different scanner as well instead of Trivy. You can write your own little adapter to integrate that. If you want to patch other things, or maybe different package managers, because by default, Copa supports a couple of package managers, you can add additional features to that. So only OS level, that's where I had the most success with. But I mean, you can do more. And I think this is, we're just at version 0.60. Lib also, but like Jerome said, for me, it really depended on how old and big the image was. My example, I used Wednesday. There is a very good Docker file and container from OWASP, a vulnerable container used for CTFs, which has got like so many vulnerabilities. It couldn't patch all of them, but when I just grabbed, day-to-day images that we use in a lot of applications across our customers or internally, I was able to successfully patch them. And then again, and when it comes to container image security, that's also a good thing. We're now talking about Copa, but that's where I did the whole series on these things. There's so many different angles you want to cover when it comes to container image security. Now we're doing Copa and patching images, but then we can also do Trivy and output to GitHub Advanced Security. We can use Microsoft Defender for Cloud. We can do container image signing. We can use Azure Policy to make sure only signed images are deploying to our Kubernetes cluster.
Yep.
And it's not one or the other. You want all of them. You just want to make sure you've got that covered.
So not just Azure Policy, you could use Gatekeeper instead, and the open source Gatekeeper and Ratify as well. So it's not just Azure this works on, it's any cloud or any Kubernetes.
That's true. I'm mentioning Azure Policy. Azure Policy has its own Gatekeeper implementation. But I mean, it's Ratify, Gatekeeper, notation, all of that. Someone's asking, did you manage to automate this? Yes, I did. It's not in this demo, but the way to automate this is in GitHub Actions is to use reusable workflows. Then pass in the image that you want to scan as a parameter. What you could also do, and that's what I've been playing with in the past couple of days, is use Microsoft Defender for Cloud, vulnerability detected, trigger something, call a GitHub workflow or GitHub action, and then pass that image name as a parameter. There's a lot of ways to automate this, but yes, for me, the easiest way to automate this in GitHub is either write your own GitHub action to include all of this. So you do your own Trivy implementation, your own Copa implementation, or you write a reusable workflow, which allows you to pass parameters, and you can do that in private and in public repos and a lot of different ways.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right. So we've got Trivy vulnerability scanner, outputs to JSON. Mind you, we did a session on this a long time ago. You can also output to GitHub Advanced Security in that very nice tab. You can output it to command line. And we're going to tell Trivy, hey, I've got a matrix set up. So here I'm hard coding the image. This is not automation. This is a demo. Well, it works for a demo. So you got your images here. And that's what Trivy is going to pull. And then Trivy is going to scan. And if it finds something, it will output a JSON file. Then we've got a next step where we're going to check that JSON file and see if it's greater than 0. So we know there are vulnerabilities. And then if there are vulnerabilities found, steps.vuln count outputs vuln count bigger than 0. We do Copa patch. And here I'm using the binary instead of the GitHub action that's provided. Why? Because it worked better for me with what I wanted. I didn't want all the custom Docker configuration in my runner. This is exactly what I needed. And then we're going to set an image name and, well, this ChatGPT, I'm just going to be honest, and then you check it, you run the bash script. Does it work? Yeah, it does work, even though I can write bash. But the thing is, I've got an image.
Make life easy.
Yeah, makes life easier, right? We've got a v1.0.1 tag. And what we want to do is up that patch version. So we should end up with a v1.0.2. And that also comes down to strategy, whatever you want to use. If you want a different strategy, because now you're essentially releasing a new version of the application into ACR, or at least that's what it looks like. You could also do, as a strategy, do -patched. So everyone knows, hey, this one has been patched. You could also do something different and have a separate repository in ACR and go, I'm going to push everything here initially, call it unpatched, then have Copa run it, and then you release it. But then that depends. I have my opinion on this, and this is just my opinion, and maybe someone shares it. This is remediation and not prevention. If you have a Docker file and the first time you release it and your GitHub action from Trivy goes, hey, I found a vulnerability, just don't release it. Just don't fix it before you release it, right? You already have a working version of your application. Then there could be a reason to patch it because I know feature needs to come out today because you promised the customer. That could be a reason, or there could be reasons, but by default, you want to prevent from a vulnerability that is already known from ever ending up in your solution. This is remediation and pretty good as well. So what we're doing here is we're then rebuilding that tag, major, minor patch. We have a new tag and we output that as a variable inside of our GitHub runner. So we can then use it. We're then going to build, and this is what the Copa patch will do. Copa patch -i matrix of images. In this case, it's one image. Looks at Trivy results.json, so whatever was outputted by Trivy, and then applies the patch tag once it's done tagging. And as an environment variable, we're providing 0.60, which is the latest Copa version. If you're using the GitHub action, you would do and the version. So then all we do is push the image, and that's that's all there is to it. Well, that's all there is to it. I've been playing with this for, when did I start talking about this? Somewhere December internally, WhatsApp thing. Like I want to do this from scratch, and so it's been a couple of weeks and months to get everything down.
That's also what
fully understand it.
6 blog articles later as well. It's not just the specific use case. You've stepped through quite a few of them, so pretty good.
And there's so much more to do and to talk about, but we're gonna keep this respectable. All right. So detail, I'm just gonna make a small change. I'm just gonna add a dot, and then I'm gonna generate a commit message and commit it to the main branch. I know I saw Richard. Up until last Wednesday, I did not know you could press this with GitHub Copilot and automate the creation of your commit message.
So good.
I do yes, and we sync, then we go. And then hopefully we should refresh. Something is running. Ooh. Something is happening. So what's happening here, I called it patchy patch because this is still, this was still some demo stuff. And I got a little frustrated when I was, so let's run this, but I'll show you. I should learn how to write commit messages. That's why someone pointed out to me that you can generate them using GitHub Copilot, because when building this, these were my commit messages.
Well, at least most of them are
sketchy things.
Sketchiness increased and
At least they're different, right? If once I get into something, it tends to be 10 or 15 of the same commit message. It's like that is no help to anybody.
Oh, but now I got this, so that's good. Yeah, so back to this and go to the action, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. So it is running. I'm gonna click on it and see. It already did the patching. So what it did was run the Trivy vulnerability scanner, and we just scroll through it. You can see, all right, it did something, and then it outputted the JSON file. We're gonna check the vulnerability count. Apparently it was bigger than 0, so Copa patch is gonna run. That's what we saw when we did that if statement. And then Copa did a lot of magic, and you will see stuff like this: APK update, APK add, and on the Copa website you can see what package managers it supports. If you're missing something, write the connector, do the pull request, support the community, support
Contribute
the
to
project,
open source.
contribute definitely. So then it's done. It's going to push the image, and we can see here that it's going to push backend v102. So that's where that little ChatGPT bash scripting did something for us and added the patch version.
So is this running the free GitHub hosted runners, or do you need a dedicated runner? So it's just
no, this is the free stuff. So if you want to do more advanced stuff, and currently, if you look at the copacetic action repository, they're looking into building something inside the GitHub runner using build-x and a customized Docker version or additional features such as containerd image store. If you enable all that, you got custom runner, you configure that, and they push a new action with those new features. The cool thing there is then you can build, scan, and patch in the same pipeline. Now we're looking at something that's hosted in a registry. It's very actively maintained. A lot of people working on it. So I see a lot of new features coming out rather sooner than later. Awesome. We got v102.
Very cool.
And then what you could do, depending on your strategy as well, is hey, if I found that vulnerable version, you can do custom scripting and you can do Docker stuff in your pipeline. Maybe even get rid of the old one.
Yep.
I mean, if you do that and you are running, Kubernetes, and you might have a problem when something is going to restart, but
especially if you guys just always pull the image version. Yeah, that could definitely go wrong.
It really depends on what you do or what you want. If we're going to take another look at our, where did I go? My Defender, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and then I messed up my Defender for Cloud the other day. I need to look at my recommendations because I can still see it scanning. I was playing with some features and enabling features and disabling them, like the preview stuff. And now it says that, what does it say? Affected resources. Oh, not applicable resources. It no longer finds my ACR applicable. That was a thing. I don't know why. It just messes up the reporting because it does show my container images. Well, it doesn't today, apparently. I do this, and then it doesn't show it anymore. Did we not have an example of our vulnerable container just a little bit ago?
You did have something showing, yeah.
Yeah, I think I butchered my Azure portal. Oh, well. If you check the blog post, you will see that we went from a lot of vulnerabilities to 0.
Good work.
I broke it. Yeah, it is very cool. It's also very, very fast, especially if you look at, well, this is just a small image that we're using, right? It's just an Alpine Go installation. But, if you, even with bigger images, it's still pretty fast because it's not it just patches. It doesn't, break down the whole thing and do it all over again. It's just a very fast solution. And the good thing is, we didn't even talk about that. We are just talking about the GitHub action here in this demo. We're using GitHub workflows, but it's just a command line tool, Copa. You can just download it locally. You can do it locally on your machine, and the same with Trivy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about that is because they're not and I love that about these open source cloud native tools. they're not like a SaaS product somewhere. So if you want to build your own Docker-based GitHub action, you got all those command line tools. You can build this whole thing yourself with those different tools, include whatever you want, and you should be good to go.
Nice. That's really cool.
All right. Yeah, that's copacetic, and now I'm just annoyed that it doesn't show my thing anymore. But
You have
hey,
to get
that's
that
it with
fixed
live
later.
demos.
Yeah.
I will figure that out later. Yeah, but it should show which images we just patched. But never mind. It went to 0 images. You can also see it in the command line. It is also on my GitHub. So if you want to play with that, the exact workflow, you can just copy paste it. The Docker file for the Go Alpine image is also in there with some vulnerabilities. So have a go.
Awesome.
Nice. That was awesome.
Thank you. It was a little bit.
I do love these tools. Yeah. Not as long as Karl is fine.
What I absolutely love about tools like Copa and Trivy, and yes, it takes some investment in time to understand how they work and play with the different features, but you can run it over and over and over again. It always works. It's because they're small tools. There's no fancy stuff, no very big GUIs that you need. It's stable. It works.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one from Azure. We're using Twistlock, and even after patching with Copa, seeing lots of issues. We believe those are app level vulnerabilities. So the angle that we did not describe here at all, there's also a part of security scanning, code scanning inside your development process, and it all needs to be there. And then still, it will never be 100%. I mean, that's the thing with security, right? It's never 100%, but you will get the majority.
Like onions and ogres.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure.
All right. Well, it's time, right? It's time.
Yeah.
Great session, mate. Great session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's good to see the band back together. Mainly caused by me, but good to be here. Check us out next Friday when we'll be talking about who knows. We'll
figure that out.
Yeah, but on that topic, if we look at summary action points before we adjourn the meeting, we gotta do a session on AKS and the best tools around it. We definitely do have an opinion on that, going from 0 to fully fledged production ready, and depending on your strategy, multi-cluster, what CNCF projects can you use, how do they help you? We need to do a session on that. And as Alan said, we do need to create some feed, a calendar feed with the things we'll be talking about. So we'll do that.
Great
all right.
Great session. Thanks for joining, everybody. Looks like those streaming to Twitter's bringing in a good few viewers now as well. That's good.
That's good.
X,
very good. X.
Listen, it will always be Twitter. Won't be here another 20 minutes if we get into that argument. Right.
Right. So we better go.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Thank you, and have a good Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.